Hey guys, welcome to another math lesson, and I have to do this real quickly. This is regarding the graphs that we have been doing so far for chapter 4, I believe. Over here, I have the graph drawn out, and obviously the red axis over here is x, and the y-axis is y. Sorry, green axis is y. Okay, and this is a graph very similarly representing the graph of question 1 of 4G in 65, page 65. I'll say this again, page 65, question 1, exercise 4G. So this is the homework we got. And no, I'm not going to give you the whole answers. I'm just going to show you how to know whether you've done the calculation correctly or drawn the graph correctly. The first equation is f of x plus 1, where x is inside, 1 is inside the bracket. Inside the bracket means obviously affecting the x, and x always gets affected in the opposite direction, y gets affected in the correct direction. If anything is outside the bracket, it's y. If anything is inside the bracket, it's x. So since it's x plus 1, we'll have the graph move 1 unit backwards. This isn't exactly a movement of 1 unit backwards. I don't have any units over here, but this is a rough estimation of what I'm showing. So once you're done with drawing the graph, your graph should be 1 unit moved to the left from the original graph, right? Then question B is for f of x minus 4, where minus 4 is outside the bracket. So that would mean outside the bracket means it's affecting the y, and it's affecting the y directly. So on the y-axis, the graph would move down by 4 paces. Again, this isn't exactly 4 paces, but it is roughly enough to know what you've done. So once you're done with this, your graph should move down by 4 paces. Part C is very similar. I'm not going to do everything for you. I'm just going to quickly show you what it would be and what I mean by that. Graph. There we go. Part D, f2 of x, where 2 is inside the bracket. 2 is multiplied by x, and remember, x is opposite of what's done to it. So all of the x values over here would get divided by 2. Now what I mean is, like, each and every coordinate written in the book, I'm not going to read them out. Each and every coordinate written in the book would have the values of x divided by 2. And once you've divided the values of x by 2, if you draw the graph, should have, when you draw the graph, it should have shrink like this. It must have shrink like this, otherwise it wouldn't work. This is how the graph works 100% of the time. You move it like this, and it shrinks. Okay, that is in terms of 2x, 2 of x. Alright, whatever happens inside the bracket of x gets the opposite. Moving on, we have 3 f of x. So that means 3 is outside the bracket, 3 is affecting the y directly. So once you've done plotting the graph, once you've multiplied all the y's by 3, all the y values of the coordinates by 3, graph should have stretched 3 times longer than what it had. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. Mr. Amin also stressed on this. It's just that your values must look like they're like this. Alright, y gets stretched by 3. Moving on, the last one. The next ones are very similar. The ones I'm skipping are the ones very similar to the others, so I'm not doing them. The last one, f of minus x, and I've seen some people having trouble to comprehend it. Here's a general rule that you have to follow. If there is a minus sign to x or y, okay, a lone minus sign, just minus 1, not minus 2, not minus 4, that's for another story. But if there's a lone minus minus 1, that means y or x, depending on the equation, will get multiplied to minus 1. So in this case, it's minus x. So all of the x values will get multiplied to minus 1. So what this would do to the graph is flip the graph around the y direction according to the x direction. Yes, this sounds very confusing, but let me try again. If it is affecting the x by minus 1, that means every x value would get multiplied to minus 1, meaning the graph would flip this. If you didn't see what just happened, let me do it again for you. The graph would flip around the y-axis like this, That should be your answer. Should what it looks like from the original graph, you flip around around the y-axis. Okay. Now let's say if it was minus f of x, same rule, different direction. Minus f of x means it's affecting the y, so we multiply all the y values by -1. So it would all the y values. Let's say this. Let's say the point right here. It would move all the way to the point right here. Okay, this would move more or less, not exactly, but let's say yeah, right about there. So let me just show you and do it. It says minus f of x, so it will flip this way. All right, simple to understand. Probably not, but if you watch the video a couple of times, it flips around x-axis. All right. Thank you for watching today's video. I tried to make it as quick as possible. Thank you for your time.